Hey everyone, back with part 2 of our spooky Reddit story about the Netherlands. So if you have not heard part 1, you probably want to back out, go listen to part 1 first. I'm going to try to keep this to only 2 parts. It's an extremely long post, so bear with me. So story 5. This is not much of a story because it happened so many times while growing up that there's to mention them all, and as far as I know, my dad says it's still happening, and it happened when he was little as well. He grew up on that farm. In the middle of the night, a very loud knock on the front door will happen, like one knock. Not every night, but maybe it is more than we know because it's always just one knock, and it happens at different times. You need to be already awake, otherwise you will not hear it. It is not the old house making noise. I know every sound the house makes. It is a knock, one knock on the front door. Same goes for the feeling of being watched a lot, like there is something behind you, but weirdly not in the house, always in the stables or barns. And I think I have seen that person from story number 1 more times in the stable out of the corner of my eye. And they say animals can sense things, and I think that is partially true, like our farm dogs. They don't care. They go anywhere on the farms. We have 4 horses in the stable, and they are never spooked. Only the cats can act weird. Like they go in and terrorize the mice in there, but sometimes they will not go in. Even when you pick them up and walk in, they are very weirdly meowing and making weird sounds that they normally never make, like they're uncomfortable. Or maybe they don't like me at the moment, but I don't think that's it. Like growing up with a lot of children, those cats are the easiest going, friendly animals out there. They will allow you to do anything to them. Story number 6. In our village, there is an old textile factory in the middle of our village. It's now closed. It operated from 1890 till 1978. Back then it was a ruin. Now it's rebuilt into luxurious apartments. It's 4 stories high. Back then it was a very scary building, and of course it was filled with scary stories. I was 17 years old. It was a Saturday night, and me and my 2 friends came from the pub. Yes, back then, the legal drinking age was 16. They bumped it to 18 a couple of years ago. So we had the brilliant idea to test our bravery and go in the factory. This was forbidden, and the factory was fenced off, but that did not stop us. We climbed the fence and entered the factory. Mind you, we did not have proper cell phones like now and the flashlights and all that. We made our way in the almost total darkness. I know, it was a stupid and dangerous move to do. When we were on the 3rd floor, after walking a good couple of feet, our hearts dropped. We could hear something moving very slowly, and when we stopped, it stopped as well. So we sprinted as fast and good as we could to manage in the dark towards the exit. We were all freaking out. I think the alcohol had a lot to do with it. My friends were like, is this stuff real? At the same time, we saw in the distance 4 younger teenagers running. My friend ran after them, and we followed my friend. We stopped the 4 boys, and we were like, were you guys just in the factory? At first, they were scared of us, of course, like 3 older guys in hot pursuit of 4 younger guys. Come on. But when they said they were so relieved we spooked each other, I know it's not a ghost story, but for a second, we thought it was. And it's still a good story to tell. A couple of days later, I went in alone during the daytime just to see how it looks, and I discovered that we were very lucky, because on the 3rd floor and the middle part is collapsed on all the floors, and if you drop 3 stories down. So yeah, we were very lucky that we stopped walking. Story number 7. This happened when I was 25. One of my sisters moved into a new house, and it was very secluded. Like there are only 2 houses there and a party center that was closed during the week. Only on the weekends it was open. So it was pretty quiet overall. After 1 month, I could see that something was bothering my sister, so I asked, and she did not want to say it because it sounded stupid. But in the end, she told me. She says something at night, you could hear what sounds like a little girl crying at the front of her house, and it was freaking her out because when she looked out there was nothing there, and it stopped when you opened the front door. So she asked me to sleep over so I could hear it as well, and I agreed. On the first night, nothing. But on the second night, I could hear it. And it was like she said, like a little child is softly crying, like very softly. I looked and there was nothing. I stayed for a 3rd night and it again, and now my sister starts crying. Like she finally found her own place that she liked, and then this stuff happens. Seeing my sister cry, I got annoyed at whatever was making the sound. So I opened up the front door and yelled, "Can you just leave her alone? You are not welcome here." And believe it or not, since then it stopped. So I don't know exactly what I did or what it was, but my sister is still living there today and has had no further problems. All right, guys, I'm not going to share the last story on the post. It seems kind of scattered and it won't translate to video very well. So I am going to share an edit that she put. So earlier in part 1, she describes a reoccurring dream about Sesame Street. So some people had asked her what the dream exactly was. So that led to the sleep paralysis. So this is the dream she was having. So people have been asking what my scary dream was about. I'm at a party in a garden. All of the Sesame Street people are there. And at one point, I need to go inside the house. And when I try to go out, the door is locked and nobody hears me. At that point, random notes are left with chores on them. But the weird thing is they are drawings, like clean the toilet. And after I finished it, the next note was there. Then I go on for a while and I do them all. Well, all the time, I'm scared and feeling that someone is watching me. The last thing I always need to do is clean the kitchen. And when I'm finished, I go to the living room and Cookie Monster reveals himself. That now everything is nice and clean, that he can go and unalive me. Ooh, Cookie Monster. Because his secret recipe for his cookies are the bones of kids. Then he attacks me and unalives me, and then I wake up like a normal wake up without the sleep paralysis. Later, when I had the dream so many times, when I entered the house and seen the first note, I am realizing that I'm dreaming and somehow woke myself up. And then the sleep paralysis starts, with the exception of that one time. Okay, guys, so what do we think of these stories? They're kind of eclectic and different, but I wanted to read it because it was something from the Netherlands, and I just haven't got to read anything from an area like that, so found it kind of interesting. My favorite is probably the footsteps from the barn when there's snow and you can see that there's no footsteps to the barn, and then where they led to was not safe for anything to walk. Feel like that is most definitely paranormal. The dark thing that the kids saw in the kitchen, also very creepy, right? Same property. The knock, you know, it could be something, or it could be the house settling, but I feel like this poster was pretty in tune to the environment and knows that they were experiencing something. So I tend to believe them. I like that they stood up for their sister. I think that was important. And, you know, like, that's a lot of times how something paranormal can actually be handled in reality. Like, taking control and ownership of your property, your home, your place. Not letting them push you around. It doesn't always work, but it works a lot. So I do believe that alone could have been enough for it to stop, because that would have been a really freaky experience as a woman hearing a kid crying and then nobody's there. So pretty interesting set of stories, and definitely a lot of history on their property with the family, and a lot of you know, things happened that were tragic. So it's terrible that family wasn't alive during the war and stuff like that. So I find the string of stories really interesting that the family went through over the years, and the property, apparently his father had recalled having activity as well. So the activity on this property has been long going. I suppose the one about the warehouse, I didn't realize that one was going to end as non-paranormal, or I would have skipped it, but it was kind of funny. You know, it reminds us that we need to be safe when we go into places, not trespass and sneak into places as paranormal investigators, because they could have fallen 3 flights down the floors, all those kids, and the little kids were there too. So, got to be safe out there, guys. Got to cut this out. I'm almost to my 10 minutes. Thank you for coming back to listen to part 2, and please hit the buttons on the repost. And thank you so much for supporting what I do here. Thank you.